Yeah, Shoshana, can you hit on the what the interview process actually looks like for a minute? You hit on a little bit there, but be curious, like, what's the process? Phone interview, then what happens? Then what happens? Research talk or talk, so how does that all look?
Well, if you don't destroy your phone interview by not having any research plan whatsoever, like I did, I think what I've seen a lot now is now it ends up being not phone interview, a quick Zoom interview
Oh,
where
yes.
a committee is reviewing a selected number of people based on already having gone through the paper. The paperwork that got sent in, which is, the teaching philosophy and the resume and all the things. And sometimes reference letters are already included there. So they have a pile of those because everybody wants a wonderful job and they want that position, I'm sure. And so they've narrowed it down and they're starting to talk to people. And then they're finding sometimes what research fits into that college or university, as well as a personality and a teaching background. So you might not get an interview just because there's already somebody studying that type of molecule, or, they wanted to expand a different section of their research skills. So sometimes it's not about your teaching, it's about what research you're bringing to the table. And it's not a personal thing, it's just filling a niche.
Hmm.
But then you're doing some sort of initial interview, and hopefully you reach that next step, which is usually an in-person interview where you're meeting with whatever department you're interviewing with. You're talking one-on-one, you're talking about your plans. You're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you because you want to know if this is a place that you want to be. And very often I've seen for at least primarily undergraduate teaching institutions, you will do a teaching demo. And sometimes they'll put you in a class with students and have you take that class. Sometimes you'll be in a conference room with a bunch of faculty who are seeing how you teach things. And sometimes you're giving also and or a research talk. What research are you bringing to the table? So when you're doing those types of interviews, you want to make sure you're practicing what you preach, right? If I say my teaching philosophy is engagement and student-centered learning, and I use active learning and all these different methods, then when you go up there, then you want to incorporate that into your whatever presentations you give, because then you're demonstrating what you say that you're going to demonstrate in the classroom with these students.
Anything else you would add to that, Jen? Does yours kind of look the same?
Yes, we have the Zoom interview, and then we have interviews on campus. We'll narrow it down. But yes, we're thinking about the research that we can support at our institution. So, for instance, University of Maine in my department, we work with the model organisms of zebrafish and C. elegans and a lot of cell culture work. And so we don't have a lot of mouse facilities, so that's definitely a consideration, just like what Shoshana was saying. So, how can you collaborate and add to the department is a big consideration. But there, the teaching does come up, and there are like really critical questions about. Um, they want to know how you even would perceive yourself in the classroom. So we have questions in terms of um, how are you going to be student focused? What how are you going to adapt to different types of learners? Um, and then I think also thinking about what kinds of classes you could bring, what other additional courses or even topics into a course. So that's important as well. Um, but yes, it's oftentimes the need of the department at the time, especially now the budget lines are pretty slim pickings. We have needs in our curriculum, and we need to make sure that even though we love you as a candidate and you've got your grant, we need somebody who's going to be able to come and teach infectious disease or something, right? Um, and while everyone might be able to do it, having that expertise is really lovely. But yeah, we have a big consideration is the way that the material is presented and how engaging the person is, because we have a very teaching focused department, and so we want to make sure that the person coming in is going to match with our personality but also really care about the teaching and have that be a focus of their time with us. So I do love that about the department. I
Yeah,
fit
that's
right
great.
in.